There, I had to find my unmute. All right, well, thank you very much. Let me just start off with this saying or mantra, tough times won't last forever, your college degree will. This is something that we've adopted, something that my colleagues here have come up with, and there's a story behind it. Essentially, one of our staff members here has this nice little light board that she uses, and pretty much every day she puts a new inspirational saying on this light board. And so up until COVID-19, there was a new saying every day. But of course, we had been gone for quite a while. And so when we came back, there was a new saying similar to this. It was, tough times won't last, but tough people will. And that saying is still on that light board at our entrance. It's still there because it's that type of inspiration that we need in this time. And so we've taken that further, and we've actually adopted this mantra related to Washington State University-Everett and in our future and our direction and what's really important for our student population. And I'll tell you, this is really important for me because one of the things that has kept me up at night is the fact that, about 40% of our student body are first generation students. So they're first in their family to ever attend college. And, when you have a pandemic, when you have family members who are sick, when you have maybe issues related to employment, then you may make the choice not to continue your education, something that we know will last forever for you, something that will put you in a good position. And
excuse me, Dr. Pitre, but your screen share is just showing your desktop. It's not showing PowerPoint.
Okay, excuse me. Let's see.
We've got it now. Thank you.
Oh, now or?
We did have it. It disappeared again.
Okay. Now this should be it. Did you get it?
Yes, we do. Thank you.
Okay. While I'm here, I need to do one more thing. Share sound. Okay. So again, this mantra is really important for the work that we do. We want our students to continue. We want our students to realize that education is something that'll be important to them for the rest of their lives, and it'll put them in a good position. Now, the screen is still there.
Let me explain what's going on. You actually have two screens at your place, and you have your presentation in presenter view. So as soon as you go to start your presentation, it's going to switch to your second screen on your place, and it'll disconnect from your main screen.
Okay. Let's see.
Well, he has to go up into the settings under PowerPoint and change it, take it out of presenter view.
Oh, take it out of presenter view?
Yes.
Okay. So if I take it out of presenter view, then you won't be able to see it.
No, when you start the presentation, we'll be able to see it, but you're going to see full screen and we're going to see full screen.
So take it out of presenter view. What are you seeing now?
Just you. Start the presentation from the beginning and see what you get. Are you in screen share right now?
I am not.
Okay, yeah, you have to be in screen share.
Was.
So when you go into screen share, select Microsoft PowerPoint and it should show it.
I just chose the screen.
Okay, now select the PowerPoint presentation.
So you can't see my screen.
No.
My PowerPoint. So you're seeing me.
Yes.
Okay. Do you see it now?
Yes, we can. You can advance it. And
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. As I was mentioning, it's just very important to our student population. This is, hopefully you can see this video. I wanted to show this very quickly. Just an intro to Washington State University.
Go Cougs means living in the moment while working towards the future. Go Cougs is about testing our limits and pushing through. Go Cougs is the memories we make and the people who become family. Go Cougs means everything.
Okay, you were able to see that? Okay, thank you. So anyway, I just want to kind of give an introduction to Washington State University. As you know, it's an excellent institution. And for those of you who are Cougs in the audience, hopefully you've been able to visit Washington State University in the last 3 to 5 years. And if you have, you know that it's grown and developed so much in that time. And if you haven't, you should visit, because there's so much that Washington State University does, not only for the state of Washington, but for the nation and the world. And if you've never been to Washington State University, I'm sure you would gain so much by being able to see all the excellent work that is being done in Pullman. You know, the other piece to this that's so important for Washington State University is that we are a system. Along with the Pullman campus, we have 5 physical locations, and we have 1 campus that's 100% online, our global campus. Along with that, we have 4 research stations around the state, and we have our extension. Our extension is in every county in the state of Washington. So Washington State University is a huge operation. And so one of the things I think is important to point out here is that we have a new initiative for Washington State University. It's called One WSU. And essentially what we're doing is working towards really developing Washington State University as a system. A couple of key notes here. As I mentioned, Washington State University is over 130 years old, and with that, excellent facilities, multiple campuses, you know, research that's going on. and contributing billions of dollars to the state of Washington. And so there's just excellent work that's happening with Washington State University. With that, though, we have, as I mentioned, 5 physical campuses. So we have these regional campuses that are developing as well. And I have to say that the Everett campus has been a catalyst in some of the change that's taking place through One WSU, because you have this new campus that is coming forward in the new millennium, and it's how do you grow this and how does it fit with this particular system. Along with that, you know, our Spokane campus, our Vancouver campus, our Tri-Cities campus, those 3 campuses are now 30 years old. They're over 30 years old. So they too are coming into their own. I say that we're the toddler and they're the teenagers. And so within the family, you know, it's really important for us to see how this system is developing and how it can be more effective. And with new executive leadership, we have our most senior dean has probably been here for 5 years at Washington State University. Our vice presidents for Washington State University, probably 80% of them are new. We have a president who's been here for 5 years and a provost who's been here for just a year. So there's a lot of new leadership, a lot of opportunity for a new look at Washington State University and how it can grow and develop. And so that's what One WSU is about. And it's really looking at Washington State University as a system. So that's a very important piece of where we are and where we're headed. And so you'll hear more about that and how we continue to grow and develop as a system. Let's see here. There we go. Just to talk about Washington State University-Everett, and there's a couple of points that I just want to make about our student population. I mentioned before that about 40% of our students are first generation, first in family to attend college. About 40% of our students are what we call Pell Grant eligible, which means that they are from families that are from low income families, which means that financial aid is a key piece to them being able to attend college. But it also means that these students are attending Washington State University and they're increasing their trajectory in terms of their future employment and those types of things. So these individuals who come from low income families will be our future leaders within our community. Along with that, about 33% of our students are students of color, okay? And that number moves between 33% and about 38%. So in general, about a third of our students are students of color. They too will be future engineers, our future business people, our future elected officials and scientists. And so what WSU-Everett is contributing to the community is very rich. And I just wanted to be sure to make that point. Something else I think is very important to mention, and this goes along with my opening remarks related to our student population, our first generation students, and me having some concerns related to whether or not these students continue their education. You know, sometimes we hear about the value of the baccalaureate degree not being quite what it has been in the past. And, but that's not necessarily true, at least in terms of what we see in the research. Can you guys still see my screen? Is everything working? Okay, okay, good. So in terms of degrees and how effective they are in the market, just some data that we have here at the bottom. In 2019, now of course this is pre-pandemic, so now that we're getting, hopefully, fingers crossed, getting towards the end of the pandemic, not quite sure how this, what the data will say within the marketplace. I'll be interested to learn that. But pre-pandemic 2019, those individuals with an associate's degree, which means that they have the 2-year degree from our community colleges, earn 19% more than their counterparts with the high school diploma. Okay, so almost 20% more than their counterparts with the high school diploma. Okay, so that's the associate's degree. That's an important point. Now, those individuals with the baccalaureate degree earned 67% more than their counterparts with the high school diploma. So those numbers really speak to the continued value of the baccalaureate degree. And it's especially important in Snohomish County and the state of Washington with this knowledge economy that we have. So, so I just have to say that, and it's not just the 4-year degree, it's post-secondary education, which is of utmost importance in this economy. And then my next slide talks a little bit about Arlington in comparison to Snohomish County, the state of Washington, and the United States. And so Arlington, with a lot of good things going on with aviation coming to Arlington, with Amazon coming to Arlington, and all the growth that's taking place there, it's important to note that there's some opportunity for growth there in terms of the baccalaureate degree. About 19% of the residents of Arlington have the baccalaureate degree at this time. That's in comparison to Snohomish County, which is at about 33%. State of Washington is even larger at 36%. And Arlington is probably closer to the national average, which is about 32% of individuals that have the baccalaureate degree. Now, this isn't to say that everybody needs the baccalaureate degree, but it does provide some opportunities, and that's what we're here for. That's what Washington State University-Everett and Everett University Center are here for. We're here to bring that education from Pullman, and also we have Western Washington University here as well. We're here to bring those degree programs here, to bring the education to the community, and so we have that opportunity to assist in that growth of degree program offerings. So I think that's an important aspect of what we do as Washington State University. Speaking of growth, one of the opportunities that we have for growth is in our physical facilities. We were fortunate enough to be granted $10 million from the state of Washington to look at land acquisition. And so we're still steeped in that, still working on where that land acquisition will be. But the key point is that it provides us an opportunity for growth. We know that we have an opportunity for growth at least through 2030 and potentially through 2050 and beyond. A couple of things I want to mention is that we know that as Washington State University, we don't necessarily need the 375-acre footprint that they have in Pullman. We don't need a campus of that size. Or our Vancouver campus actually has about 340, 350 acres, a lot of wetland that they can't build on, but it's a huge acre that they're on. We are a truly urban campus. And while we do need that land acquisition, so we have the opportunity to grow, we don't need that type of acreage because we can leverage technology. We can, and potentially build up as well. So, but we do need that opportunity to grow, and that $10 million goes a long way to that. And so we're really grateful to our state legislature for that. The other thing I want to mention is our partners, Everett Community College, they are growing. I can hear them out there right now. They're just outside my window. They're building their new Cascade Learning Resource Center. And so that's going to be a beautiful building just to the south of us. And so we will share a courtyard, and it'll be kind of a nice quad that'll develop here. And so higher education in Snohomish County is on the rise. It's growing. And as I mentioned, it's just there's just a ton of opportunity, just a ton of opportunity. A couple of things that I want to mention about Washington State University-Everett. We've been very successful in starting to really develop some scholarships. We have a general scholarship that we provide to students. It's called our Everett Scholars Scholarship. Along with that, we have some endowed scholarships that we're so very proud of. The first one is the Ray Stephenson Leadership Scholarship. And Ray Stephenson, as many of you know, was our beloved mayor of Everett and very instrumental in Washington State University being here in Everett, Snohomish County in the North Puget Sound region. And so we have a scholarship in his name that was endowed by the Boeing Company. And that goes to a student who will be a next generation leader. We also have our Scott Carson Veteran Scholarship. And many of you may know Scott Carson, former CEO of Boeing Commercial, big time Coug, and also a regent of Washington State University. And I have to say this, Regent Carson has been at every graduation of Washington State University-Everett. He's been there for every single graduation that we've had. And so I just can't say enough about Regent Carson and his passion for education, someone who is a military veteran. He was in Vietnam, and so he has endowed a scholarship. Then we have our Launching Future Scholarship. I know I saw Corey Deskin on here. He's been very instrumental in this scholarship. He's on our advisory council and has helped us to raise funds for this scholarship for our up and coming student population. We have another endowed scholarship by an attorney from Marysville, and that's the Gary Baker or the Baker Family Scholarship, and Gary Baker was the catalyst for that. I know we're running short on time.
Hey, Dr. Pitre, I don't mean to interrupt you. I want to go ahead and honor your time that you have since we did get started a little bit later. I just wanted to let you know we're going to let some of our members who have to leave at 1:30 step out. So I apologize that they're getting your presentation cut short, but you go ahead and proceed on with what time you have, and then our members that need to leave can go ahead and take off. Thank you.
Yeah, I'm about ready to wrap up here. Just a couple of dates here. So our priority deadline for our financial aid is the 31st of November. Our deadline for our current students, November 31st. For our new students, January 31st. In case you have students out there who are thinking about attending college, these are some deadlines that are very important, especially if they're going to come to WSU-Everett. They definitely want to get their financial aid filled out. And with that, I'm about ready to close. We have 8 programs at Washington State University-Everett. We just brought on a new business administration program that we're very proud of. And we know that that is going to be an excellent opportunity for folks throughout the community. There's a ton of new programs that we're working on, everything from a School of Community Solutions to cybersecurity and a doctorate in ed leadership. So we're all about growth and expansion. And so a lot of good things to come at WSU-Everett. And with that, I can take any questions that you might have.
I have a question for you. I know that the Elson Floyd Medical School is working with with Everett and the community college and a lot of the medical providers on the west side. Can you tell us a little bit about that connection? I know that recently Rotary, I think through the Bellevue Sunrise Club, established a scholarship for one of those students.
That's right. That's right. So I'm glad you mentioned that. If you can see this right here, I just got this today, and it says first doctors. So we just graduated our first class of doctors from Washington State University and the Elson S. Floyd College of Medicine. So we're so very proud of that. And then you may have also heard that the first residency program for the entire system of Washington State University is here in Everett. So students can graduate and then they can apply for a residency to be right here in Everett and Snohomish County. And then there's a scholarship that is being developed by the Bellevue Rotary, and so Chris Carlson, who I believe he's the president of the Bellevue, one of the Bellevue Rotaries, is spearheading that. He's looking for other Rotaries to really think about endowing a scholarship for medical school students. So essentially, within the medical school, we have about 20 students, or excuse me, about 40 students. So the third and fourth year, we have about 40 students who are right here in Snohomish County doing their practical experiences. And so what we're working towards is having a scholarship for one or two of those students that says, hey, we believe in you, we believe in your opportunity in the future, and we want you to be a part of this community. And so, yeah, so we're definitely working on some scholarships there.
Anybody online have any questions for Dr. Pitre? Thank you very much. It's all yours, Devin.
All right, sir. Thank you very much for what you do in this community. It's a pretty incredible resource we have. That's Everett Community Colleges. Stay close, go far. I mean, really it is remarkable to have a 4-year degree experience right down the road. Although a lot of frowny faces from the Washington, Huskies that are sitting in the room now, so you don't get to see them. But
Hey.
They got to move up here. It's their fault, right? All right. So thank you for your time. Thank you for what you do. Thank you for our guests, for our new member too, for coming today. And thank you, Yola, for setting up and arranging the food. Dave and Paul for arranging all the setup so we can have Zoom. Dr. Pitre, thank you for joining us. And if there's nothing else for the good of the order, dismissed.
Thank you.